And good morning, guys. Welcome to a Q&A session. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic morning. I just need to go for a quick coffee. And, well, we're getting ready. We have a couple of requests already in lineup. AVAX, best settings, and PopCat. So let's get things out of the way. And I see a couple of you guys rocking a sticker. Love it. I see gang. I see army. I see, what else do I see there? From your stickers, guys. Love to see those stickers. HKRS. Oh, hackers. Nice. DB Cooper. I didn't know you were on hackers. Love it, bro. Welcome. All right, guys. So why not? Let's get started. We have Fartcoin in the screen, but let's get started with Bitcoin, of course. And let's move into the request. So why do I always start with Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin is daddy, right? It's going to lead the way. It's going to be the one that show us the money, right? And so far, Bitcoin is looking strong. Strong with quotations, right? Why is that? Look at our oscillator. It's kind of like trying to fully back down, right? In a rounded fashion. What do we get when we have that rounded fashion slope or something? We start getting kind of like a goose head, right? Then this is very interesting. We have a movement to the upside. We start having that goose head like thing. We do a little range and bam, we go up, right? That is not the end of the story, right? I mean, we also can see it here and then bam, we go to the upside, right? Remember that goose head has something like, I would say, 40% playing ratio, right? So if you're new here, you might be asking, well, if goose heads have so low playing percent, why are you looking at it? Because I combine them with other stuff. By the way, guys, if you have another percentage estimation on goose head, let me know. I used to thought that they played out like 70-80% of their times, but doing an actual mathematical playback, those goose heads, they don't always play exactly. So just to be safe, I discarded this kind of goose heads. So let me show you. I mean, I know I might be cheating myself because I would have gotten a higher win rate with those. But look at this goose head in here. What happened? Look at the wick. Once we have that wick, I don't consider it anymore as a true goose head. I mean, despite it all, it did play it out. We have a little retracement with a further move to the upside and then the bigger retracement. This was a perfect goose head if we did not count that wick, right? So that's why they went from very, very high, if you remember the previous classes, to right now something like 40. I'm just trying to work around maybe new users that hear about this. They don't go like jamming on the goose heads and they get trapped, right? So better be safe on those calculations. Trade the bonds, absolutely. Yeah, trade the bonds, not the winner. So we'll leave that for a second. If you guys are you don't know what that means, usually we look for a range, right? So when we're ranging here, this is where Alex are crypted. This is an Alex O thing, and there's the food in here. Let's look for the hot dog. Where's the hot dog? I don't know. I don't have it. I don't usually draw this myself. But whatever, I'm just blind and I cannot see it because I know it's in front of me. Burger, here's a hot dog. All right, so basically we look for the hot dog in here and we want the buns and not the wiener, right? So we want to trade those. So basically it's just a small way to say it: buy low, sell high. Do not do anything in between. You want the bonds. You don't want the D, right? You don't want the dinner to be just a winner in there, right? So that is basically a short analogy. That is a very fun analogy. You trade the buns. You don't trade the actual sausage. All right. So at this point, we're at the top. Something important we need to know, this is looking like this could be forming a goose head. As long as we hold, and I would say this support line, right? Not even dynamic reactor. Dynamic reactor is slightly wimpy right now. It's not looking that strong. It's looking very, I don't know, thin and flaccid. But at that point, I still holding, actually, still holding like a champ. Nonetheless, we'll try to skip that and be a little bit more generous around its edges. What does that mean? That we can maybe be piercing through back and forth, right? And we're not gonna be calling out unless we have a big body candle going through our support area. That's where we know that this is not longer a goose hit. How do you get the army tag? I think that's because of this last server you joined, maybe. Not 100% sure how you get it. I see that I can activate it here in Chart Prime. Maybe I'd activate it. Yeah, that's a Discord perk. But how do you get it? Like, I did see not everyone got it. Do I think that Bitcoin goes up to the next level? I think so, so far, as long as we don't lose this area right here. So the point of answering that question, I believe, and let me guess a little bit in here. Good morning. How is it going, my friend? All right, so then please let me understand a little bit more in here. Learn, invest. He says, do you think Bitcoin goes up and to the next level? What is up to the next level? First, I mean, I'm talking about a goose hit, right? By the way, do not take this anything like as mean or anything. And I always say this because English is not my first language, as you can tell, right? So sometimes in the past, as I have described things, I've got a hey, but you don't need to be mean, right? So, no meaning, not being mean intentionally, right? Okay, having got that out of the way, explain me a little bit more. What do you mean like going to the next level? What is the next level to you? Is it the next level just turning bullish? Is it the next level? Do you have a level that you're looking at that for you is important? Like, or a level, are you talking about next level because we are on a flag and then the next level will be breaking through previous highs? Like all times new highs. Is that next level? What are your thoughts in here? I need a little bit more on that. Nonetheless, in the meantime, you write it and I read you. I do expect a further push. All right. Something that we talked about in the morning market report today. It is the 110 level. The 110 level is somewhere around this high or even this high in here. And that's where we get a lot of concentration of rejection. So for example, if I turn on here my quantum reactor, the first area is 107. Not that shabby. It's basically at the middle, right? But when I start turning on the rest of my indicators, you'll see that I have a lot of things packing up, like for example in here 109 for a support, sorry, for a resistance, and then 110 right here, and finally 111. So this is the box, the threshold area to look for rejections, right? So if we get the goose head in here, usually what we're going to be seeing based on the previous goose head that we saw in here, it's going to be the range, right? Maybe a little retracement, and then further move to the upside, and then a bigger move to the downside, if that makes sense. What is the area to look for? I would say this is a very thick area. That depends on how we break in here. If we don't have the sweep of the lows in the lower time frames and we just go straight with a big body candle, I think that is gonna be the best possible scenario to reach 1012. All right. But if we just make a sweep of the lows and then we go high, I think we're gonna be looking at 109. So why do we call 1010? It's just the average. All right. So 1010 is a good area, not price exactly point, right? To look into, but it's a good area surrounding the 1010, slightly below, slightly above. All right. So the next level of resistance, like 109. Oh, perfect. I think I answered that. Yeah. So do I think? Yes, I think so. But here's the thing. Are you going to trade based on what a dude in the internet thinks, right? I mean, And I'm not the best analyst out there, just so you know. But even if the best analyst was telling you, I think we're gonna hit it. Well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. So what am I up here telling you about this? Because you always need to have a plan B. All right. So my goal in here is to get you to a point where you can both be profitable, right, and do not depend on of us. Bitcoin will absolutely. Oh man, I got that audio. I got that audio.
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero.
Did you guys hear that? Yeah, absolutely. Bitcoin is going to zero. So love it, love it. So the point is that what can we abstract, right, out of the charts? So what is the hard data other than thinking? And by the way, do not think again, there's the wrong way. There's nothing wrong about asking. In fact, I encourage you to ask anything. And in return of your question, because it takes, you know, not everybody asks questions. So in return, I'll give you my best possible answer. Even if it's not something that I don't like. All right. So you ask a question, I give you the hard facts, right? Deal? Perfect. Maybe retracement on BTC before going high. Oh yeah, absolutely. Before breaking the high highs, I think that we need to have a retracement. Although, let me just clean this chart and talk about the retracement. We already have it. Look at my area of interest in here, right? Now, let me just clean this up. Now, look at what am I expecting in here. I'm expecting a little bit of a rejection, all right? But we didn't have that rejection. In fact, we are ranging so far. That doesn't mean that this cannot happen, right? I mean, we could absolutely do that. So what is the plan, you might say? All right, the plan is going to be if I break out and they go to 109, 1010 previous highs, that's what I look for rejection. This is going to be my first possible entry. All right. Next possibility is, all right, if I really want to catch this movement, you will not be able to do so in the 4 hours. You just don't have enough candle structure to do so. So where do you go? Maybe you go to the 15 minutes, all right? And the 15 minutes, now we're talking. Let me see if I can have another much easier time. There we go. Let me just get rid of this. There it is. And what do I mean when I talk about information? There's just not enough information. It's just candle structure, amount of candles to create a structure, all right? So what do I see here? I see either Bart Simpson, which is negative, going down, or a bullish flag trying to break out. So far, I am at the top, so a rejection should be good. All right, and then when I blow back up or something like this or something like that or something like that, that's when I start going for my re-entry. Even if instead of breakout retest, even if we don't have a retest, even if we have another little flag in here, what I'm looking, it's that flip of the ribbon to the upside, and then boom, shakalaka. All right, so this is my entry right here for the next leg to the upside. Let's go back to the 4 hours because this is not the whole story. So we were talking about, all right, if this is going to be breaking to the upside, my entry is either right now or I need to wait. The 4 hours, I rather wait for touching some highs and then going for the retracement and then going for again the other retracement. How would that look like? Let's go maybe here. Yep, perfect. So how would that look like? That would look like going for the big area of resistance. First retracement, I trade this going downwards. And then the secondary retracement, I trade this to the upside. So far, this is the plan. And you might be asking me at this point, so yeah, I mean, you just say that this is a plan, but what's the actual plan? Do I short or long? Nothing. At this point, nothing. I wouldn't do. If you really want to, I'll show you how to do that in the lower time frames. 15 minutes will give you enough information to long it. But at this point in time, remember, yesterday I told you guys, I am buying, right? And Alex was like, what? And yeah, I told you guys, I am buying, right? I am buying. I am buying, even with the possibility to get a double bottom on another retracement. Why? Because things move on uncertainty. And yesterday, the uncertainty was gone because the news was released, right? So choppy today. Yeah, very choppy today actually. Going up and down. But so far, what I do here is just I already bought. I'm already in. Haven't you been in? That's fine. Don't worry. Hold your horses, right? Nothing's gonna disappear. Your opportunity is not going away, even if it goes to 100K. Don't worry, because if it goes up, you can always short it down, right? So don't tell me that Bitcoin doesn't have a bear market, because we know exactly how that went last time, right? So again, try to get that maybe feeling of FOMO in check. So what do I mean? I feel FOMO. In fact, if you follow me when I trade, I tend to scream at the mic. I have a lot of fun, right? But I don't know when I'm FOMOing in. I can exactly identify when that feeling start kicking in, and I can go, hey, you know what I'm seeing right now might be over exaggerated based on a bias. All right. So just to wrap your question up or down, right? I think we're going up. I think that is my possibility number A. How do I trade that on the 15 minutes for an entry, or on the breakout retest? My next entry in the 4 hours is going to be here, and then off we go to the upside. So a much bigger pattern on the 4 hours, right? Another thing, well then, what if we go down right from now? Well then, I'm looking for some supports, and again, I'm gonna be looking for flip of the ribbon, flip of the ribbon, flip of the ribbon, flip of the ribbon, flip of the ribbon at support. If I see a flip of the ribbon and I'm not at a support, let me show you how that looks like. For example, let me see, that one did play it out, did play it out, did play it out, did play it out. There is a couple of them that did catch you. All right, here, I think, no, this one did play it out, did play it out. Come on. One that haven't played out. Here he goes. Here he goes. All right. Flip of the ribbon. When did my flip of the ribbon happen? Right there. Was I on support? No, my support was above. I'm in the middle of something. In the middle of an empty hole, right? So I wait for the V-shaped recovery and maybe another movement to the upside, another leg to the upside, and wait for the price action to actually touch support, right? So once I got those two, flip of the ribbon support. Hey, look at who is back. What's up, my friend?
I just had Mario and Luigi over at my house.
Oh.
They were going, "Hey, it's me.
Ding,
I gotta
ding,
fix your
hitting the
pipes.
thing.
Yeah, Yahoo." Yeah, no, the plumbers were here. All the lines had air in them in my house.
Oh, really?
So they had air in the walls, and it was just going, be.
Wow.
So like my whole house was just, it sounded like it was humming.
Mhm.
So I had to turn off the water. My good friend came over, and we drained all the lines of all the air and then reopened it, and it's all good now. So it's all fixed. Thank you for covering my ass. I know
Oh, man.
it's
Always a
a
pleasure.
very exciting market today, man. It's been so, it's moving so much, like
Yes, it is.
sideways, right?
Yes, it is. I
Oh,
saw that
man.
coming. I saw that coming.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, great that you came with this issue, because right now you're in front of an architect. Let me, but it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. By the way, it's a joke. I am an architect. That's not a joke. But here comes a joke. Here is what we said when you have something like that. All right, you have air in the plumbing. Easy. Just create a new house. I can help with that, man.
Yeah.
That's the solution. Throw it away. Throw it away. I get you a new one. I design you a new one.
Do you know what the three rules of a plumber is?
Which ones? Cover your ass, one?
Okay.
Or something like that?
One, paychecks on Friday.
Oh,
Two,
yes. Uh-huh.
shit flows downhill. And three is the best. You ready?
Ready.
Don't bite your nails. That's disgusting.
It is. Holy shit. Yes. Oh man. Love it, love it. How many times I've seen a plumber not remember rule number two, and then open up a register. Like when we're working, when I used to work on malls and stuff. Sometimes the things are in the next floor downwards, right? So you need to get a stair, to get to the register or the registry. How many times I've went like, have you checked? And they go, yeah, I checked. Dude, dude.
Yeah.
Yep. So everything good now with your
Yeah, everything's good.
nice.
We're good to
nice.
go, man.
Absolutely. All right. So I was just getting asked a couple of questions about up or down. And my answer was we need to wait. At this point, we're ranging, but in 15 minutes, we might be able to catch the next leg up. I'm looking at 109, 1010, 1012 for that box of resistance. I do believe that we're going to be having that burst. In fact, I'm following on what you mentioned yesterday, which I believe that's going to be the plan, which is, hey, imagine if, this is what Alex mentioned, imagine if they get you all bullish, they do the next leg up, they grab as much people as they can, and they dump the price. How funny would that be? Well, I don't know about funny, but that'll be a disaster if you got in there. Nonetheless, if we can trade it, we trade it with a stop loss, and we take our profits as we go. We should be okay in case we get the price dump on us farther ahead. So, but in case we have a reversal, my next possible entry is going to be at 101, 500, somewhere around those areas. But let me pass it over to you. How was your morning? And then I think we have a request for AVAX, Popcat, and that's it.
Okay, yeah. Cool, man. So yeah, this morning was obviously we had Jerome Powell speaking this morning, which was very much a snore fest, as they call it. But I did take a long here, or breakout retest continuation, and stopped out in profits here. So I took profit one, and then we stopped out. But just like OC said, we're very much in an area of where we're looking for a range. So for me, one trade this morning, nothing special. Stopped out, like take profit up at this high here. So this was my first target right here, this high. And we hit that target, TP1, and then stop loss to entry. And then this came back down and knocked me out here. So easy little trade this morning, nothing too special, but up for the day. And Orb has played out quite well. We do have VWAP in here too that's chopping quite aggressively. Okay, so we chopped. Whenever you see price action chopping VWAP, this is really like a no trade zone. Like for me, this is you're just here kind of deal. So that's something to always watch for, right? Whenever price is just hanging out here, it's always something that I tend to stick away. A way to trade the VWAP, okay, is breakout retest continuation. So whenever you're like extended from VWAP, so you can see here, price is kind of extended from VWAP, and you have a strong move through and a retest, and then you hold. That's somewhere where you can take a long, especially off of a structure change, okay? And you would long this back up to probably the highs in here, which would have played out quite nicely. That's a nice VWAP strategy that I use quite often when I'm trading Bitcoin price action, right? You just a nice 2-to-1 here, right? Looking for that target, right? And nice stop loss continuation. Now, another way of trading is the exact opposite, right? So if you are, we are rolling over right now. Good. Coming back for those late longs, wrecking everybody. VWAP right now. Another way to trade is if you're rolling over like we are now, you slap through it and then you close below it, right? And you can take this short. You can also treat it like a magnet. So if you're far away, you can take it into VWAP. If you're far away, liquidity zone, you can take it into VWAP as well, right? Would have worked quite nicely. I'm sure Right now we're like clipping overextended. Look at that bounce off of VWAP. You can see how well it does react. Okay, so it's a nice area for trades if you trade it correctly. A lot of the time people will try to trade it in this environment and they'll get absolutely wrecked. It's not where you trade it, right? It's either magnetic, so it comes back to this average price, because all it is the average price. It's where are the most people happy buying and selling this asset, right? Where's the average of the day, right? So if you're away from the average, you return to the average, right? If you're in the average, right, you look to break away from it, right? So it's a very easy thing to trade, and then you look for it to find support. Some people's rules, they only take longs when they're above VWAP. They only take shorts when you're below VWAP. That's another way of rules based that you can add to VWAP. So now, because you're above VWAP, you're only looking for longs, right? If you were to close down in here, you're only looking for shorts, and vice versa. That's just a simple explanation of VWAP. I use it to trade every single day, so I highly suggest that you learn to add it to one of your skills. We do have it in here on our Market Dynamics Pro here, show VWAP right here. Okay, very useful tool. Okay, now orbs played today, but what are we looking at really? Let's just like take a look at Bitcoin. And like I said the other day, OC, it's funny, OC and I always have like similar but a little bit different TA. So OC here, he's watching this trend line, which I like, right? He's watching this one. I'm watching this one. I'm looking for the OC breakout retest continuation trade. That's what I'm looking for today. He's looking for probably push up into here and then get absolutely destroyed. He's probably along those lines, which, you know, both work. You have to go with what price action's doing, right? So for me, I'm tracking this. I really like 103.5 for a retracement level. Not a full Bart Simpson, but like half a Bart Simpson, right? We got Bart Simpson in here. So we would look for that retracement. I don't know if we come below here. This is a significant volume level. Whenever I have red lines on my chart, that is typically an area where I'm looking for range-bound trading. Why is that? Well, when we look at this, we can see that we have a massive amount of volume within this area. You can see how fat it is, right? Right in here. So that means when price is in here, it's really choppy. And you can see that all throughout. So what do we expect over here? The same type of BS, right? Chop and pop, right? That's exactly what you get in here. All you have to do is go in and look at what price did before. If we go over into here before we drop down, right? What happened in here, right? We chopped and popped, right? There was lots of trades to be taken within this range. This was FOMC week, right? But a lot of chop and a lot of pop, right? So you want to buy low, sell high, right? Throughout this range, we're range bound again. So if we're going back over to where we're trading right now within the same range, right? We want to be looking for shorts at the top, which is where we're at right now. And we want to be looking for longs at the bottom. Okay. What do we have right now? Triple top. The only issue right now is that we haven't swept any of the liquidity up here. So that's the concern, is we've lower highs, okay? If we had an SFP right here, I would be shorting the crap out of this right now. But to me, this right now, this is a higher low. Okay? So we have an SFP here. Okay? So we pushed up, low, SFP, so swing failure pattern, not a close below. Okay, so this hasn't changed market structure in my opinion. So we're still in the uptrend here. Higher low, higher low. So we would need to lose this low down here in order to flip bearishly. Now, if we had swept the highs and closed down below in here, back in the range, I would look to short because we've grabbed the liquidity and we look to push price lower. So for now, I'm being patient. I wait for price to come to me. Right on the short-term time frame here, we can see that we still have our higher low. However, If we fail to do so and we lose that low, I would look for us to come back down to 103.5. Okay. Looking at this in general, right? So what am I looking for? Retest back down to that red line, 103.5. Or we push up, right? Or we push up, we get a breakout, retest, continuation trade upwards, getting above 105.7 and looking for it to push, okay? Alex, is BS a chart pattern? What do you mean by BS? Stock scalping. I'm not going to say bullshit, but that's the only BS I know.
Oh,
I'm not-
shit, yeah.
It's a joke. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. Over my head. It went over my head. So right now we're bouncing off VWAP, looking for a reclaim of orb and continuation out. Otherwise, we're looking for a mitigation of the low and continuation down. Stuck in the chop. Okay, stuck in the chop. So a little bit of patience here will prevail. Obviously, Jerome Powell spoke, a little bit of push-up. Not anything too special. We look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ's created a lot of liquidity below it. Okay, when we look at the NASDAQ, we can see this. For me, I'm looking for a retest of previous highs, right? Naturally, I'm looking for this thing to come down after being so overextended, right? Really, this thing is coming for all-time highs right now. Pretty exciting, man. S&P. Pretty exciting, man. Only, 1% away from all-time highs. All right. Pretty exciting. So let's not get too euphoric, I would say, right? We don't want to be, only pressing buy. We want to be very, very cautious, especially when we gap up like this. Okay. So typically when you gap up on something like the S&P, you tend to come back and recover these gaps. So up only a little bit right now. Tesla's really leading the way with their robo-taxi.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And Coinbase doing really well today as well, up 9%. Pretty awesome. Amazon, Google, all recovering quite nicely. Okay. Even Google's recovering here. So some bullish things for the S&P and some nice bounces for the rest of the market. I went through and did all my pullback levels here. Looking for virtual for a pullback here. One of the trade setups. Also looking, for a lot of these to pull back and come back down to earth. I can share some of these charts with you guys in the chat, but I've gone through and I can share these as well. But what we really need to see is ETH go, right? So ETH has come back up, gotten above this macro golden pocket right now for Ethereum. So this is actually a very nice liquidity sweep. Perfect sweep down to like that 2100 area. Really breaking structure here on a much higher term time frame. So looking at Ethereum in here, trying to get out of this, right? Breakout, retest, continuation. So like to see something like this on ETH, and that would be good for our altcoins. You can see the total 3 had a little sweep down to this area in here, which is a key level of support here, right around 780 billion. Okay. Full liquidity sweep of basically all in here. And really wanting to see this thing, I guess we could just go from this high here. We're looking for this thing to break out and push, okay? Break out and push. And we're really close to that, okay? So trying to bounce here. Nice move for total 3, giving us a little bit of hopium, which is always good. Golden pocket bounce out of here. And hopefully it can start making some higher highs and higher lows. What we really want to see is the mitigation of this high in here. Set an alarm, right? And see if we can get above that. But overall, we're hanging out with Bart Simpson right now. So hopefully Bart Simpson is a happy Bart Simpson, and he only comes down to here. Otherwise, we push up. We have a couple of sell walls. We look to get rejected and come down much lower. Because what is here? This is all liquidity. This is all long liquidity in here. So you're looking to revisit this, if not now, then later, right? So hopefully it's I would prefer now and then go. That would be my preference, but we don't always get what we want. So be prepared for anything. Right now we're sideways consolidation. Let this bake. Okay, let this thing here hang out with your hot dog, okay? Right? You let the hot dog hang out and let it make a choice. Does it want to go up or down? Once you have a decision, maybe you get an SFP, a retest continuation. That's where you long. Maybe you get a SFP, retest bounce. That's where you get long. But in here, I would highly suggest you be patient and you wait. You wait, because this is not a fun place to take trades, in my opinion. This is a place where you get wrecked on choppy price action with very weird volatility. If we go over to the VIX, we can also see that the VIX has dropped off a planet, right? This was bullish news yesterday, no wars in Israel. Now we're right back down to very slow price action. Always watch this VIX, right? This is half decent movements. This is very painful. You're waiting a long time for your trades to play out. So typically when you get down into this 17 mark here, I don't trade it because you're waiting for, it's like watching paint dry. It's horrible. Okay. Up here, it's very tradable. In here, you got to be a ninja. Okay. You got to be quick. But right down here, it's pretty painful. So expect price action to be slow and expect it to make you guess, right? They're trying to trap traders right now. Don't be one of those people. Just wait. Don't get too bullish, too bearish. Set the traps, set alarms, go and touch some grass. And that's what I suggest for everyone. You're muted?
Yes, yes, I'm muted. Sorry for that. Let me take on what was it, AVAX and PopCat really quickly. Or have you done it? No, you haven't, right?
No.
So I lost
not
myself a
yet.
little bit. All right, perfect. So let's take a look at here. 1 second. Well, there's loads. Perfect. We have PopCat. Basically, everything has the same pattern, which is a trend line, right? There's a couple of things that Alex was talking about today, and where are the trend lines that we're looking at, right? In the 4 hours, if I zoom out enough, this is going to be my main trend line. But also, I cannot deny that at this point, this is an unconfirmed trend line right here because we already have some rejection, but we haven't had the actual flip of the ribbon as we should, right? Remember that we could be having a goose head in here, and that goose head could be bringing us a little bit down and then up, and we still have that quantum reactor coming in strong to then create a bounce and maybe a move to the upside. This would have been plan B, the optimistic one. Right now we are below dynamic reactor. Our prime score is very bearish. So this actually feels more like a bear signal, right? So like a short signal. Nonetheless, this is just a few candles to actually make a trade on the 4 hours. If we want to catch this, we would have need to go all the way down to 15 minutes or to 5 minutes and start reading what we got in here. So far, this to me looks like a head and shoulders with a cricket baseline. Another thing that is important is that we're below the zero line. Although we're very bullish, this could change with a one single candle. If this candle happens, be aware of this point and wait it out. I would suggest, not financial advice, but wait it out, because if it breaks, you still have all the way down here for a support zone. And let me even bring that up. There we go. All the way down here from support zone with a breakout retest. Off we go. But if we reject and you short this, we could be going back and create a double topping here, creating basically a much bigger range, which is in 4 hours what I am expecting. All right, so be careful out there on PopCat, and let's do AVAX so far. So it's been really choppy lately, especially because of all of the uncertainty. and until Bitcoin defines a direction, I don't think that altcoins should be touched unless you are in spot or very low leverage or you're really committed to that altcoin. Other than that, we have a loud order block on AVAX. I believe that we are entitled to go slightly up and then down to the loud order block, and that is because of the magnetic action of the order block. I mean, it's hot in here after taking that coffee, and then going to somewhere around 1690.98, and let's add an alert in there. I might be able to trade this, and on that I will be looking to hold above the zero line like in here, and off we go above dynamic reactor into the next area of resistance, break that down, retest, and then off we go. This again, it's plan B because it's too far into the future. Nonetheless, plan A so far, slightly up, and then retracement. So far, that's what we got, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Alex, such a great story that you got with the pipes. Really enjoyed it. And awesome analysis today. I really, really liked it. Guys, thank you so much for joining. And as always, see you guys tomorrow.
Later. Don't bite your nails.